As attorneys, we often get asked the question, when can the police ask me for my identification? Obviously, if a police officer has you pulled over on the side of the road for a lawful traffic stop, they can ask you for your identification, your insurance, registration, things like that. But the real question comes, when can a police officer just walk up to me on the street and ask me to essentially show my papers? And Colorado is one of those states that does have a statute on the books that identifies specific instances when a police officer can do that. And that's under our Colorado Revised Statute 163103. And under that statute, it makes it clear that a police officer has to have reasonable suspicion that something has happened. And the case law that follows that statute makes it very clear that just an anonymous tip on itself, by itself, is not enough for a police officer to stop and ask you to identify yourself. That's not enough for reasonable suspicion that a crime has occurred. Police has to be able to corroborate that independent, anonymous source, or they have to actually view the offending act themselves. A perfect example of reasonable suspicion would be, imagine you're over in the Cherry Creek shopping area on a hot summer day and you're wearing a long ski jacket and you're with somebody else that are also wearing a long ski jacket. You're standing outside of a jewelry store and you're looking around like you're scoping the place out. That would be reasonable suspicion that a crime has occurred. It's less evidence than probable cause, which is needed to make an arrest. The officer in that case wouldn't have enough evidence to arrest you, but they would have enough evidence to walk up, tap you on the shoulder, and ask you what you're doing, and more importantly, ask you for identification. A lot of times, depending on the type of CCW that you have in Colorado, you're required to actually show not just your driver's license, but also your CCW. So please keep in mind that if you are required to show your driver's license and you do not, or you show your identification and you do not also show your CCW, you could be in violation. Penalties for not following this directive could include obstruction of justice or obstruction, so please make sure that if you are refusing to give up your information, that you are prepared to face the consequences.